Welcome back everybody to another video. Today we are back for another predicting whatever teams 2021 to 2022 NFL season. And today we are in the New York Jets. We have moved to the AFC East division. And I'll be going from the bottom to the top of the standings from last year. So we'll do Jets, then we'll do Patriots, then Dolphins, and then Bills. I'll get those all out in a row as soon as one's posted. It's going to be every single day. And I'm going to do my best to post at least something every single day, especially these right here, because you guys have shown a lot of support on these, so thank you for that. I know my Browns video is doing very well, so maybe a lot of Browns fans out there, I'm not really sure, but yeah, anyway, thank you guys for that. So we are on to the Jets today, and before we get into anything else, be sure to just hit the subscribe button, guys. I think we are 16 away from 100 right now, last I checked, so be sure hit the subscribe button. Obviously, I do a lot of Madden, and when Madden 22 drops, I will do more Madden. As of right now, I'm doing more kind of real-life football stuff, and if you guys really like this, I will continue to do this with Madden. But guys, I will make sure to do a good mix of both. That way, if you subscribe to me for Madden, I will continue to do that. And if you guys like this and you want to subscribe to me, I'm going to continue to do this, so that way both parties are happy. And so today, it's going to be a little bit different because this is our first team where they got such a high draft pick. So I know that if you guys have seen my past videos, go check them out. If you haven't, there's a playlist for them. Go check that out. But I usually predict, I usually go over last season's, passing, rushing, receiving, and then defense. And I predict, passing, rushing, receiving, and then one person from defense. But Darnold is not there anymore. It is Zach Wilson's season in New York. So I'll be predicting Zach Wilson's stats. So be sure to stay for all that. I know that's a longer intro, but I had to get some things out of the way. But now we are going to get right into the video. So though Darnold is not there anymore, last year he did pass for 2,208 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions, which makes me really happy seeing that since I'm a Panthers fan.
You tripping, bro.
But in all seriousness, I do think Darnold could kind of, redeem himself in the Panthers, at least I hope. Coming from a Panthers fan, I hope. But you know what? At least for the Jets, the Darnold nightmare is out of the way. We have a new quarterback. And yeah, last year I didn't realize just how bad Darnold was, but he did pretty bad. So I'm sure Jets fans are happy to see him go. And also another thing, since I said I am a Panthers fan, I obviously, like any of you guys, I like teams in the NFL and I don't like teams. But every team I cover, I'm staying neutral. Like, I'm not going to let my, if I don't like that team, I'm not going to, talk bad about them in the video. I'm going to stay neutral, if that makes sense. But now moving on to rushing. Also, I have no idea why those guys are highlighted. I'm not sure if I accidentally did that or what, but I'm not trying. Oh, okay, there we go. Oh, okay. All right, yeah, they're gone. Anyway, so Frank Gore, he has 742 yards from scrimmage, which is just absolutely amazing. He is 37 years old, but he had 742 yards from scrimmage. He had 2 rushing touchdowns and no receiving touchdowns, but, that's still, he's like, what, 3rd rusher all time as far as yards go, so you can't ask for much more than that. Backup, I guess they kind of have Ty Johnson and LaMichael Pirine. I honestly don't know about either one of them very well, but I guess 353 and 295 yards from scrimmage for each of them, so I guess they're both kind of solid. But it's still crazy. 37-year-old Frank Gore is really out there. 742 yards from scrimmage, nearly 1,000 at that age. That's pretty impressive. But guys, as far as receiving goes, Jamison Crowder actually had 713 yards from scrimmage, 699 receiving yards. So obviously most of that was receiving. But he honestly had a pretty solid year, and he had 6 touchdowns. Which, if you remember, Darnold only threw for 9, so 6 of those were to Crowder. That is pretty good. If with Zach Wilson coming in the NFL as a rookie, that's a for sure target right. Also, I got really confused there for a second, so I knew Darnold only passed for 9 touchdowns, and I see all the other guys with receiving touchdowns, and I was a little confused. I forgot Flacco actually played some games, so that's not out of 9 touchdowns. It's out of Flacco's, I think, 6, and Darnold's 9, and Jamison Crowder threw for 1. So I think that's 16 touchdowns total as a team on offense, I'm pretty sure, around there. So that makes more sense, though. Still a solid season from Jamison Crowder. Next up was Rashad Perryman, who also had a very good year. He had 511 yards from scrimmage, and he had 505 receiving yards. So, again, not terrible at all, with 3 touchdowns to go along with that, 3 receiving touchdowns. They had good years as a receiver. It's just they don't have one guy that just did really, really well. And it is disappointing because looking at the Bengals, whenever we did the Bengals video, they had T. Higgins, who nearly cracked 1,000. They had Boyd up there. They even had A.J. Green up there. The Bengals had a lot of solid targets, but really, if you look at this, the Jets don't have a for sure target. I think Jamison Crowder had an amazing year, honestly, for what he had to work with. I think he had a great year. But Zach Wilson's coming into a franchise with not a lot of help, and even as a rookie coming in, that's already hard enough. So it might be a rough year because I'm not predicting, 10 years down the future. I'm sure Wilson, at least I hope he's very successful. But I'm not sure what he's going to do next year. And, we're going to talk about that once I'm done recapping from this past year. But that's all I'm really going to go over for receiving because honestly, no one else had that stellar of a season at all. So we'll go down to defense. But as far as defense goes, it was obviously a bad year if you go 2-14. But trying to look at the good things, Quinton Williams had 14 QB hits, and Terrell Basham had 13. I think that's how you say his name. So again, I mean that's a little bit of a highlight right there. I think they had Pierre Desir, who had 3 interceptions that led the team. Marcus May was a close second with 2, tied with Brian Poole, who also had 2. So that's some solid play from your secondary, but just nothing really crazy. Avery Williamson got traded after week 7, I believe, to the Steelers, so he's not even on the team anymore. I mean, you got a lot to work on. You're a building franchise. I'm not gonna pretend that they have a super bright future for this next year because I mean maybe they will, but looking at it on paper, they just don't. On paper, you know, I mean, sports is crazy because sometimes paper doesn't matter, and a team just has a crazy year regardless. But looking at this, how I'm doing it using ProFootballReference.com, and again, if you guys want to use it yourself, go check it out. But using that right now, it just doesn't look like they're going to have a good year. But now that I'm done recapping 2020, I'm really sorry about that for Jets fans. I know that might have been rough to hear, but I mean, you guys know it too. You know, we got that out of the way. Now we can look kind of on the brighter side. You're out of the Darnold era. You're out of the Adam Gase era. All that's gone. You got a new head coach, and now we're going to predict some stats that I think are very realistic for each player. And we're going to start with Zach Wilson, which is really hard because this prediction could be way off. I'm just going to be honest. He's a rookie. I don't know how well he's going to do. I don't know who his targets are going to be. I have nothing to go off of. That's the same for Trevor Lawrence or any other quarterback. But Zach Wilson coming in on a broken franchise like the Jets currently are and trying to heal, assuming he plays all 16 games like I do for everybody else, because I don't predict injuries because, injuries suck. Assuming he plays all 16 games, Darnold had 2,208 passing yards on 9 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. Flacco had 864 in only 5 games. I think if Wilson plays all of the games and he has the best year he could possibly have with what he has around him, I could see him passing for probably 2,000 yards even. I don't think he's going to have a super crazy year, rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year, or anything like that. But I do think he's going to show glimpses of just a very promising future. Because like I said before, I'm not predicting 10 years down the road. I'm predicting this next year. And I don't see this team being fixed by this coming year. I just don't see that happening. So I think 2,000 passing yards. I think definitely more touchdowns. Honestly, it's pretty pathetic, to be honest. I don't threw 9 and 12 when Flacco threw 6 and only 5. So I do think Wilson can get probably around 11 to 12 touchdowns. But again, a rookie just in the NFL on the Jets, I could also see him going for probably 6 interceptions. I don't know. I don't have too high numbers really expecting him. Again, that's only 12 games that Darnold played. So I might be predicting a little low for Zach Wilson, but it's just hard to predict that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know his NFL play style, or who he wants to throw the ball to, or really what. So that's my guess right there. I tried to aim lower. That way, if he gets anything above that, then, it's something to be positive about. But that's my predictions as far as Zach Wilson goes. As far as rushing receiving goes, I guess I can predict Frank Gore stats. I really don't know what he's going to do. I'm going to say I'm only going to do yards from scrimmage as far as yards. I'm not going to do rushing. So just yards from scrimmage, I think will be a little bit lower. I think, honestly, 650 as he's kind of coming to the end of his career. So 650 yards from scrimmage for Frank Gore on, 3 rushing touchdowns, no receiving. That's my best guess right there. For passing, though, it is worth noting the Jets did draft in round 2 Elijah Moore out of Ole Miss, who I think is honestly going to be a very solid target as long as he gets some NFL playing time this year. So I'm going to predict Jamison Crowder and Elijah Moore. So Jamison Crowder, I honestly see him being a huge target for Zach Wilson. I think Zach Wilson's going to feel very comfortable throwing him the ball. That's my best guess right there. So I actually see Crowder breaking 1,000 yards from scrimmage. Not by much, honestly, probably not even 100 yards over, but I do see him having a really good year. He had 6 receiving touchdowns this past year, so I could see probably around, maybe throwing 3 more, 4 more, 9, 10 touchdowns. I see a good year from Crowder, and I see a promising year from Zach Wilson. Rushing, Frank Gore has nothing else to prove. Like, he doesn't know anybody anything. He's proven who he is. So, I predicted his stats, but who knows what that's going to be like because I think he's going to retire in about a year or 2 anyway. So as far as Crowder goes, I think he's have a great year. As far as Elijah Moore goes, though, Assuming he does play at least a decent amount in every single game, I can see him getting half 1,000 yards from scrimmage with probably 2 touchdowns. That's my best guess there. I know he is kind of used for a few trick plays, in college for like rushing. So I'm just going to say 2 touchdowns across the board, kind of combined rushing and receiving. So I think he'll have a great, I'm not going to say great year, but a good year for what to expect out of him. And I'll predict Marcus May on defense because I actually like Marcus May a lot. He had 88 combined tackles. He had 52 on his own, 36 assists, 4 tackles for loss, and 2 QB hits with 2 interceptions. I see him actually doubling that and having 4 interceptions next year. It's kind of hard to predict tackles, honestly, so we'll just kind of round up, like maybe 90 combined, maybe 50 solo, something around there. QB hits, he had 2. I don't see him getting many more than that, honestly, so maybe 2 or 3. But I do see him actually becoming a key piece of that defense. I will also predict Quinnen Williams, who played 13 to 16 games but had 14 QB hits. So I'm actually going to say he's going to have 20 QB hits, and then assuming he plays all of the games. I see a good year to Quinnen Williams. I think this team as a whole is going to show flashes of some very good individual players. The Jets, as long as they play their cards right, just have to build around them, and it's going to take time. But I think the future, at some point in the next 5 years, it is bright. It may not seem like it, but I do think the Jets will be finally a threat, I will say. A threat within the next 5 years. But like I said before, I'm not predicting for the next 5 years. I'm predicting for this next season right now. And they went 2-14 last year in the AFC East. I'm going to say 14 and 13. I almost said 14 and 3. I meant 4 and 13, not 14 and 3. That would be crazy. 4 and 13 for the Jets. I think a bit of a better year, like I said, showing some glimpses of what they can be. Nothing crazy, but I think that they are going to kind of earn some people's respect, at least some of the individuals, especially Zach Wilson. I hope he has a good year. I know there's a lot of doubts on him, and he's going to the Jets. It's really stacked against him, so I do hope he can have a really good year. But guys, that is going to do it for the video. Comment down below what you think the Jets are going to do in this coming year. You can tell me stats for each player. You can tell me if you think I was incorrect about something, or if you agree with me, anything, just comment that down below. Leave a like if you are ready for the Patriots. That is the next video coming. It's going to be uploaded tomorrow anyway, but still, leave a like. Hit the subscribe button so you never miss any of my videos. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.